Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. The Statue of Liberty is a true symbol of freedom and democracy. It also inspires the immigrants to come and aspire and achieve. And therefore, it gives wings of possibility to every person who wants to do well in life. I am Lieutenant General Iqbal Singh Singha, a retired infantry officer, and I'm here to talk to you about experiences of life wherein I thought a change was a must, and it was a wake-up call or awakenings, as I've mentioned in my this thing, that at various stages of life, you thought that this is a wake-up call and you must take stock of things, work harder, change the course of action, and achieve the desired results. First and foremost, I started my education in a boarding school at the age of 9. And as I rose to become a senior, I was a prefect in 10th standard. That was the peak of my school career. But something within me felt that was not good enough. I could see the writing on the wall that I'm going to fail in the higher secondary exam, which was there after 11th. Those days we had 3-year course from 9th to 11th. Those days my father had just got posted as an instructor to Indian Military Academy. So you spend 3 years in India and then go to IMA. And I thought to myself that if I leave the school now and join as a day scholar in the central school just outside the IMA, I would get an opportunity to learn riding and swimming, which is mandatory in NDA, as also be able to focus on my studies. So I took that decision. That was the first awakening of my life. And after working hard for the next 2 years, revising the syllabus or 9th standard because our fundamentals were not strong till then, I stood second in my school. When I look back, in my previous school, 10 students had failed. It's a different thing that most of them made doctors, engineers, and senior army officers later. But the point is that failure is part of life. It has to come in your life. You have to take it in your stride. And those people worked hard. They were not deterred by this setback. They bounced back with willpower and resilience. And that is what each one of us need to build up. A little later, in India, I was doing well. In the 6th term, final term, we have a Camp Torna, which is only for the army cadets. And there I had a shoe bite. I couldn't walk straight. And in the final route march, I took leave, and so the instructor, a captain, he graded me the lowest in service subjects. Service subjects are map reading, tactics, battlecraft, fieldcraft, firing. And that's the day I realized that any profession, may it be a sweeper's profession or army officer or a manager, you have to know your job and you have to know it well. That's the only way you will command respect from your seniors as also subordinates. Subordinates will only follow you if you set a personal example and you can guide them when they can't think straight. So you have to master the ropes, and thereafter we went for commando course, which is a very interesting course, as you would know. 33-day course, not a dull moment. They don't have a training program. They don't have a schedule. They just usher you from one position to the other, make you do unarmed combat, make you do running around, and suddenly a day comes when they leave you at 2 o'clock that the rest of the day is free. That happens to be a Sunday. You lose the sight of a calendar. You don't know which day it is. And in that course, there is a navigation exercise at night where we are supposed to navigate with the help of stars and also the compass, magnetic compass. But I pulled out, and you're left in buddy pairs. The whole commando course you do as, as buddies. So a person of approximately your weight is your buddy. I told my buddy, look, we have got notes. The previous course, seniors gave me this, and we have to go to this lone hut. Thereafter, we will go to the Nala, and then, a road crossing, and there is a mango grove. So we forgot to use the compass, which was a basic aid for traveling, and we are looking at the notes and we got lost. To cut the long story short, we shouted across, and the directing staff, they picked us up from a roadhead, and both of us in the navigation exercise got 0 out of 20. Now that was the day I decided that you shall not live on borrowed knowledge. You will apply yourself to each problem and find a solution. God has been kind to give you the brain, which not more than 10% is used by most human beings, unless you are a scientist or a genius. So I said that hereafter I am going to address myself to each problem. 15 years down the line, I was detailed for the senior command course. The prospective COs are detailed for that course. So all other students were senior to me. They were lieutenant colonels. I was still a major, a long way to go. And it is all based on your previous performance. And as the unwritten tradition is there in your college also, that the junior most, the youngest is made to do the dirty work. So I was told to read all the instructions for every exercise and make the solution. So I worked doubly hard for every exercise. While the others were playing squash and tennis or going for long walks, I was making the solution for the next day. The net result was, when next day the discussions were held, we were in groups of 10 people. So our solution was the closest to the suggested solution. Some people thought probably I had access to, the DS notes and all. I said, nothing doing. I had gone from military operations, so people thought probably this boy knows his beans, and so he's applying himself. After another 15 years, the same instructor who had asked me this, he meets me at a gathering of only 4 or 5 couples. He had become a general, I was a brigadier. And he tells my wife, who's the strength behind all this success, and it's her birthday today, she's sitting amongst you. He told her that your husband, I've not come across another officer in the Indian Army who's a more original thinker than him. And that is the day when you came home, a renewed respect was there for the husband. Normally, ladies don't think that you're wise enough. Now, coming from there, I take back myself to days of instructor at Officers Training Academy. As a captain, I was posted there. A very coveted thing. You are looking up in life. You had only 6-7 years of service. And another, I've joined midway when half the course was over. So another friend of mine, batchmate only, he was detailed to attend the junior command course in Mau. So he handed me this platoon of 35 people, told me these are the gladiators, they are very strong, and these are the people who are likely to create a discipline problem for you. Watch what they're doing. And these 5 must be relegated. Relegation in the army means a failure of 6 months. You join the next course and you do all your mandatory tests, which you could not do with your batchmate. That was the day my awakening, third awakening came up, that if you are an instructor, if you are a teacher, if you are a guru, there is no way you will allow your students to fail. And I have a mind of my own, fortunately or unfortunately. I don't just go by hearsay or what somebody has briefed you. I said, I'll make my own opinion. Took over the platoon from him, worked more hard on those boys whom he was saying they're weak. We established extra classes for them. At the cost of my afternoon siesta, I went there at 3 o'clock to oversee what these boys are doing, what they're doing rightly, carry out mid-course correction. And sure enough, at the end of that, all those 5-6 boys, they passed out with their own original course. So that gave me a lot of confidence. Next session, when I got the next course to handle, fortunately for them and me, we were together throughout their training of 11 months. And right from the beginning, I had seen the pain points and challenges in training. So I made them tougher in those things. Whichever test was the toughest, I said we'll do that first. Until everybody went across, we continued to practice that particular aspect. As a result, the platoon was adjudged the best in sports and outdoors at the end of the training period, and the coveted sword of honor and the gold medal came to my platoon. So when you work for a team, for the good of the team, your own personal esteem and a personal ambition automatically is taken care of. Everybody knew that I was a good instructor and I was worried about my boys. I got command of 5 Rajputana rifles. I had been commissioned into 4 Rajputana rifles. Both the regiments or battalions are 200 years old. In fact, 4 Rajrif celebrated its 200 years here only in Udaipur about 4 years back. And when I went to this new unit, I thought there is something called Chief of the Army Staff's citation. The unit is old, but it had not received that. Now the select units of the Indian Army, 10 to 15, at the end of their operational tenure in J&K or in Northeast, they get this recognition. So prior to taking over command of 5 Rajputana rifles, I was in the Directorate of Military Operations, where the buck stops. All operations, the actual war plans and everything is made there, they executed there, and the day-to-day employment of the Indian Army in Northeast, Kargil or any other place, when the civil administration needs us to be there, that is controlled by the military operations. So I knew exactly what it takes for a unit to get the unit citation at the end of the tenure. And I took over the unit here in Mount Abu. Udaipur was my brigade headquarters. Those days the roads were not so good. Now you can reach in 3 hours. I used to take 4.5 hours to drive. And while I was driving, as a commander or as a leader or as a manager, you need to have me time. You need to think and reflect whether I'm doing the right thing or things are not going as per my plan. So that was the time I used to think what next to do in the next 3 months, how to bring the best out of my team. And that automatically the answers came to me. When we went to the field area, before we went in Mount Abu only, we had to go to Rajouri and Poonch for our operational area. Mount Abu has similar kind of hills. I practiced those people there. In the morning PT time, the 45 minutes PT period was increased to 1 hour. And I used to lead myself, run 5 kilometers. So everybody followed. The officers and JCOs had no choice but to bring their squads behind me. And so we were fit and we zeroed our weapons. We were ready to take on the job. As a result, when we went there, some unorthodox things we also created. I created a fence of 4 kilometers, a wire fence, which was lighted by the solar lights, which had actually come for the villagers there. And that was a precursor for the Indian Army to build the fence along the line of control. As luck would have it, the same battalion location was chosen as a test bed battalion and brigade. I happened to command the same brigade later. That was destiny. An army officer, he was in my platoon in Officers Training Academy. I picked him up for my unit. You always have an eye on good future commanders. So he came to 4 Ajrif and here only in Udaipur. And after 5 years, he opted to leave the army and join civil services. We said, fine, you must follow your heart. And then he went to, the Himachal Pradesh Police Service. Intervening period, he was already married, so he wanted a job. He went to my father, who was vice president with Vardhamans at Baddi. So he got a job as a management trainee and then, of course, got absorbed there. In police, once he joined police, he rose up to a IG, went to the Prime Minister's, security, where you're actually your dedication, devotion, your integrity, everything is tested before you go there. And he served 2 prime ministers and 2 ex-prime ministers. Today, he is the chairman of Himachal Pradesh Public Service Commission. So that is his journey. The other person is Rishneet Arora, an ethical hacker who always opened his father's, computer. The father used to lock it so he could break the password. And the father finally bought him they went to a, vendor who assembled a Pentium 2 or something those days in front of him. This guy went home and opened up the whole thing. He couldn't fix it. So 2-3 trips back to the vendor and he could assemble a computer as a 13-year-old. So he then made one computer for his uncle who gave him 3,000 rupees as an award. And thereafter he started assembling computers and giving it to people that he had known. At the age of 19, he started, startups are always encouraged by our government. He started this company, TEDxIIMUdaipur, a cyber security company. And today he was amongst Forbes 30 under 30, Entrepreneur 30 under 30. And we are doing business with the 2 governments of United States. He's met the Vice President in her tenure. So that is the kind of growth that is possible. Just aspire and achieve. Thank you very much.